The day I realized I had become invisible didn't happen in silence. It happened in a crowded room. I was sitting by the window, sunlight warming my hands, while voices filled the space around me. My grandchildren were talking. Nurses walked in and out, and someone nearby laughed loudly at a joke I couldn't quite hear. The room was full of life, but no one was speaking to me. At 113 years old, I have lived through wars, love stories, heartbreak, and changes in the world that once seemed impossible. I have seen generations grow up and entire eras disappear. Yet in that moment, it felt like the longest life in the room had the quietest voice. Then something happened that made the truth impossible to ignore. A young nurse walked in with a clipboard. She smiled politely, but instead of looking at me, she turned to my caregiver. "How is she feeling today?" she asked. She, not you. I was sitting right there. For a moment I wanted to raise my hand and say, "You can ask me. I'm still here." That was when I understood a painful truth about growing older. The world celebrates youth, energy, and new beginnings, but slowly forgets the people who carry the longest stories. But here's the twist. The moment people stopped truly seeing me was the moment I began seeing people more clearly than ever before. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll share the uncomfortable truth about life and relationships that most people only realize when it's already too late. Loneliness isn't always about being physically alone. At 113, I have learned that the deepest loneliness comes from feeling emotionally forgotten, even when surrounded by people. You can be in a crowded room, hearing laughter and conversation all around you, and yet feel as if you exist in a different world entirely. Over the decades, friends, family, and companions gradually disappear. Some pass away, others move on, and some simply forget to include you in their lives. One of the most painful moments I remember was attending the funeral of one of my last childhood friends. As I sat quietly among the mourners, I realized something that stopped my heart for a moment. I was the only one left from that long-ago world I had grown up in. Everyone else from that chapter of my life was gone. I looked around and felt the weight of all the memories I carried, knowing no one else could truly understand them. It was a strange mix of grief and clarity. Grief because I had lost the familiar faces who had once made life feel safe and shared. Clarity because I realized how fragile relationships are and how time quietly takes people away, often without warning. This is a lesson I wish I could tell my younger self. Cherish the people in your life while they are here. Don't wait for the perfect moment to say "I love you," to forgive, or to spend time together. The truth about aging is that time is relentless. It doesn't ask permission. It simply moves on. And when those you love disappear, the silence can be deafening. Loneliness, the kind that gnaws at your heart, is not about being alone. It's about the absence of connection, understanding, and recognition. At 113, I have witnessed the world transform in ways I could never have imagined as a young woman. The streets I once walked as a girl are filled with cars I could not have dreamed of. Buildings soar higher than the tallest trees I knew, and the very way people speak, work, and connect has changed beyond recognition. Yet nothing hits harder than realizing the world moves faster than your memories. Technology, trends, and culture evolve so quickly that older people often feel like strangers in their own time. Conversations that were once easy suddenly feel like puzzles. People talk about apps, hashtags, and online trends as if everyone should understand, and suddenly you're left nodding politely while your mind struggles to catch up. I remember the day my great-grandchild handed me a smartphone. "Grandma, just send me a photo," she said, smiling. I stared at the screen, my fingers trembling, utterly confused. Buttons, icons, swipes. It was a language I had never learned. I felt embarrassed, almost ashamed that I couldn't grasp something that seemed so simple to her. She noticed my hesitation, gently took my hand and showed me step by step. That small act of patience bridged the gap between our worlds. From that experience, I learned a vital lesson. Patience between generations is everything. The younger ones need to understand that decades of experience do not automatically translate to modern knowledge, and we older ones must remember that change is constant. Understanding, kindness, and willingness to teach or learn are the bridges that connect past and present. The painful truth is this: the faster the world moves, the more invisible older voices can feel, but if we meet each other halfway, the richness of a lifetime can still shine through. Growing old is not always loud or dramatic. Often it arrives quietly, in small, almost invisible ways. One day, you can walk easily across the room. The next, your knees ache, and the stairs seem taller than ever. Cooking, driving, even simple household chores that once felt effortless begin to take more time, more energy, and more thought. Independence, the thing we often take for granted, slowly starts to slip away. I remember the day my family gently told me I could no longer live alone. They said it with kindness, with love in their voices, but I felt a strange pang in my chest, as if I were losing pieces of myself, along with the freedom I had cherished for decades. My home, once my sanctuary, now seemed to represent limitations instead of comfort. It was a painful realization. Growing older often means relying on others for things you once did yourself. And yet I also learned that this loss does not define your worth. True dignity in aging comes from accepting help without resentment, without letting it diminish who you are. Through these quiet changes, I discovered a different kind of strength, a strength in patience, in humility, and in trusting those who care for you. Losing independence may feel like losing control, but it doesn't mean losing yourself. Life has a way of teaching us that accepting help is not weakness, it is a form of wisdom. Aging may take your independence, but it cannot take your identity, your stories, or the life you have lived. One of the hardest parts of growing older is not the aches, the gray hair, or the wrinkles. It is the way the world sometimes begins to speak to you, as if your mind has disappeared. I remember visiting a doctor for a routine checkup. I sat patiently in the chair, ready to answer questions about my health. But instead of speaking to me directly, the doctor turned to my daughter. He explained everything slowly, simplifying the words as if I could not understand. He spoke over me, not with me, and I felt a quiet sting of humiliation. It was not meant to hurt. He likely thought he was being helpful, but the experience made me realize a painful truth about aging. People can forget that respect should never fade with age. Intelligence, awareness, and understanding do not disappear simply because our bodies slow down. Being treated like a child chips away at your dignity. It can make you feel invisible, small, and unheard. And yet it also teaches a valuable lesson. Every person, no matter their age, deserves to be included in conversations about their own life, health, and choices. From that moment, I learned to gently remind others that I am still here, still capable of understanding, and still deserving of respect. Age may change many things about us, but it does not erase our minds, our opinions, or our right to be heard. Growing older should never mean growing invisible. One of the quietest pains of growing older is realizing that life moves on without you. While you may have spent decades shaping your family, raising children, and contributing to your community, the world keeps spinning, often leaving you as a silent observer rather than an active participant. Milestones continue around you. Weddings, graduations, careers, and new families unfold, and your role slowly becomes quieter. You watch younger generations chase dreams you once held, celebrate moments you helped create, and plan futures you know you will never see. I remember sitting quietly at a family gathering, listening as my great-grandchildren discussed travels, weddings, and careers I would not live long enough to witness. I smiled and nodded, keeping my thoughts to myself, but inside I felt a mixture of love and sorrow. It was strange, almost surreal, to realize that life was carrying on at full speed while I remained rooted in memories of a time that no one else could truly remember. Through this, I learned an important lesson. Aging teaches humility. It reminds you that life continues beyond your own timeline, and that your presence, while precious, is just one part of a larger story. You cannot control how fast the world moves or the paths others take, but you can choose how you experience it. Instead of bitterness, I learned to find peace in observation, gratitude in memories, and joy in the small moments that still belong to me. Aging may quiet your role in the world, but it also offers clarity about what truly matters. Living past a century is a gift few are given, but it comes with a weight most people cannot imagine. At 113, my mind carries memories from more generations than I can count. I remember my parents, their voices soft with love and discipline, the warmth of my siblings' laughter, the first time I held my children in my arms, and the tender moments with a husband who is long gone. Some of these memories are joyful, moments of love, accomplishment, and celebration that fill my heart with warmth. I can recall birthdays, weddings, family vacations, and the small victories of everyday life as vividly as if they happened yesterday. But alongside those memories are countless others marked by loss, grief, and heartbreak. I have attended funerals for friends and relatives whose absence left silent holes in my life. I have cried for children and grandchildren who passed too soon. I have watched my world shrink slowly as one familiar face after another faded from it. The longer you live, the heavier these memories become. They are treasures, yes, but also a burden, a constant reminder of the passage of time and the impermanence of life. There are days when the weight feels almost unbearable, when the mind drifts to faces I can no longer touch or voices I can no longer hear. Yet in all this, I have learned an essential truth. Every memory, joyful or painful, teaches a lesson. Life is fleeting, and time waits for no one. The longer you live, the more important it becomes to cherish every moment while it still exists, to hold your loved ones close, to forgive, to laugh, and to express love openly. The gift of long life is not simply the number of years lived. It is the ability to carry memories as reminders that life is precious, fragile, and fleeting. And the true wisdom lies in using those memories to guide how you spend the time you still have. One of the most surprising truths about growing older is the freedom that comes with it. When you are young, much of life feels like a constant performance. You are always seeking approval, trying to fit in, trying to be seen as successful, attractive, or admirable. Every action is measured against what others might think, but as the years pass, something remarkable happens. The pressure begins to fade. I remember the moment clearly, the exact day I stopped worrying about what people thought of me. I was attending a family gathering, and instead of comparing myself to everyone else, I simply laughed, shared stories, and let my thoughts flow freely. I realized that the opinions I had spent decades chasing held little real value. Most of the judgments, compliments, or criticisms were fleeting. They did not define my life, my worth, or my happiness. With age, you begin to see life with much sharper clarity. The things that once seemed urgent, the need for recognition, the chase for approval, the desire to impress fade into insignificance. You realize that the energy spent on these pursuits could be better used elsewhere, in enjoying small moments, nurturing meaningful relationships, or simply being at peace with yourself. This is a lesson I wish I had learned much earlier. So much of life is wasted seeking validation that ultimately does not matter. Letting go of this need brings a strange, liberating kind of freedom. At 113, I understand now that happiness and dignity are not given by others. They are claimed by those who stop measuring themselves by the eyes of the world and start living for the life they truly have. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you are young, you believe time is endless. Life feels like a long road stretching ahead, full of opportunities, chances, and tomorrow after tomorrow. You assume there will always be more years to chase dreams, make amends, and create memories. But age teaches a different lesson, one that most young people rarely grasp until it is too late. I remember sitting alone one afternoon, holding an old photograph of myself at 30. I was full of energy, ambition, and hope, surrounded by friends and family, completely unaware of how quickly those moments would slip away. As I stared at that younger version of me, I felt a pang of regret. How little I appreciated the time I had. How many days I wasted worrying about trifles, chasing approval, or stressing over things that in the end meant nothing. Life disappears faster than you imagine. The people you love, the opportunities you think will always be there, even your own health, they are fleeting. And the truth is harsh. The greatest regrets often come not from mistakes or failures, but from wasted years spent on things that do not truly matter. This is the lesson I have carried for over a century. The greatest wealth in life is time. Every moment is precious, every hour a gift. Do not waste it chasing empty dreams, trying to impress others, or holding grudges. Invest your time in love, in learning, in experiences that matter, and in people who truly matter. At 113, I have learned that no amount of money, recognition, or status can replace time well spent. Treasure it, protect it, and never take it for granted, because one day you will look back, just as I did, and realize that it was the most valuable thing you ever had. After living 113 years, I have come to understand the painful truths of aging, the loneliness that creeps in even when you are surrounded by people, the invisibility that makes you feel forgotten, and the losses that accumulate as friends and loved ones pass away. These truths are not easy to face, but they carry a wisdom few can grasp without time as their teacher. The real tragedy of life is not growing old. It is reaching the end of your years filled with regrets, moments you wasted worrying about things that did not matter, time you did not spend with people you loved, and words you never said when you still could. If there is one lesson I want you to take from my life, it is this: cherish your relationships, care for your health, and value your time while you still have it. Do not wait for tomorrow to say I love you, to forgive, to laugh, or to live fully. Life is fleeting, and the clock does not pause for anyone. Aging teaches you humility, perspective, and clarity. It shows you what truly matters and strips away the illusions we cling to in youth. At 113, I have learned that life is not measured by how long you live, but by how deeply you value the moments while they are still yours. Every smile, every connection, every memory is a treasure, and it is never too early to begin living as if time is the most precious thing you own.